Okay, game 3 of the match, MuensterCheese versus SuperNick. I'm here with Team OK.
Yep. Here we see Ironworks Mill. I'm not quite sure how good a rush that is, but it seems like it would be at least relevant.
Yeah, you also do want remakes though.
Oh yeah, of course.
It is going to be tough to play inventors more than once here. I guess with barracks you can play them twice here. And I think you probably do want to get barracks here fairly early, just so you can get a bunch of inventors. And in theory, this game will pile very, very quickly.
Barracks as a village, as the only village, tends to be quite weird.
Yeah.
Turn 4 barracks. Interesting.
Yeah, Munster opened Silver Ironworks. I think I probably would have gotten Oasis Ironworks just because I want action density. But you could also consider like Improve, because the Improve is going to be able to hit some 4 costs later on. SuperNick went Inventor Silver.
I think I would open Remake here because just thinning seems nice, and you want to be doing that before you have too high terminal density.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree. Something like Remake Oasis, and then I can remake Estates. Maybe I get 1 silver or some more Oases, and then hopefully second shuffle pick up the Ironworks. We can just. I think Ironworks Mill though is you get +1 card, +1 action there, so that Ironworks is neutral until you empty the mill pile. So having that Ironworks is nice, but you get to play the Ironworks a lot more if your deck is thin from Remake.
Yeah, I don't like at all that the remakes are still at 10 on turn 8.
Yeah, and this isn't like a true rush because once the mill pile is empty, the Ironworks become a lot more normal cards. And you'd think once the mill pile is empty, the first thing you want to start gaining is remakes to thin down. Especially in these decks with all these coppers and estates, the advisors are going to be discarding a lot of the one good card and giving you a copper and estate back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So they've been moving along pretty quickly here. They emptied the mill pile, as one does here. I think the Ironworks is going to be strictly better than the Inventor here in the first shuffle because of the mill pile. Yeah. Although the Inventor does help you buy a more expensive action that turn, but so does the Ironworks the mill because it draws you a card back. Certainly now probably I would want to be adding in more gainers. The question is Inventor is really nice if you want to get off a mega turn or if you want to hit cards with high price points. But in this kingdom, pretty much everything you want costs 3 or 4.
Except for provinces.
So it's sort of a question of, do you really want to have a bunch of inventors make things that cost 3 and 4 cost 2 and 3, and make the province cost 7, but you're building up to a province after you're adding in a bunch of pieces to do that.
Mm-hmm. If you take a nomad camp here as one of your 2 terminals, just because buys seem useful with the low costness of the whole board.
Yeah, I would consider Remake as my terminal early, then maybe Inventor, and then once I've gotten that, I might even consider using Vassals, and then Vassal might end up being terminal by accident, so in that case you've got an extra one, but if you don't play with Remake, you can't really use Vassal effectively.
Yep. So
SuperNick elected to not draw on there with Werewolf. Did they forget that they had Barracks, or did they just really want to get that Hex in? Because they had 2 actions and 2 Werewolf. They certainly could have played that first Werewolf as a draw.
Yeah. Would have been funnier if Greed had been before Locusts.
Yeah.
Of that interaction. There's the thing you're talking about, the advisors being wholly ineffective without Remake.
And yeah, if Greed were before Locust, they would get a curse.
Yeah.
I had to remember the exact order of the effects there. But again, yeah, we're seeing here, so they get a mill and a copper, but in this deck, mill is about equal to a copper. So as we saw there, the mill discarded the estate to get +1 coin. So if they'd drawn a copper, it would have had the same effect, which sort of, as you said at the beginning, is Ironworks Mill Rush a thing? not, you could take all the mills, but then the mills aren't doing very much in your deck.
Yep, I think as Munster here, if you province, then you have leeway to just try to rush down the Ironworks, possibly.
It's tough, though. That takes a lot of draw.
Yeah, I mean, it takes you 3 turns, and yeah, that's probably not a thing now that I'm thinking more about it.
Yeah, I would want a lot more Oases here. The advisor's drawing you a lot of random extra cards, and you like having, +1 card, +1 actions with advisors. And see if Munster goes for the double Ironworks here, or
the Inventor. Yeah, that makes sense. Munster's first Inventor.
Yeah, it's just at the top of a shuffle when you've already started greening. So if you're going to be greening this shuffle, that Inventor's not doing a whole lot for you.
Yeah. Munster with all who has more advisors who in that split? I wasn't really keeping much track.
Yeah, they've been playing it fast, so I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, well, anyways, you can see SuperNick has at least 3 and likely a few more.
Yeah,
so Munster had more advisors.
Nick definitely could have drawn on there and likely would have hit a gold and been able to buy a province last turn instead of giving out 1 curse. I think I'd definitely be playing that werewolf before the Inventor, see what you draw, and then maybe play the Inventor to gain the Nomad Camp as your last action, as opposed to, they have a barracks, but they haven't ended up using the action most of the times they've played it.
That sounds right. Here, I didn't do much there.
Yeah. So that's good order. You want to play the advisors first before the mills, because usually your opponent's going to give you those coppers.
Yeah, definitely.
And here, there was a play order issue there. They could have drawn the second mill and discarded the mill and estates and had 8 without triggering the shuffle. Now they've triggered a shuffle without a whole bunch of good cards in it.
And on the upside, now you can just rush down Ironworks because you drew into those. Or Nomad Camp.
I think Nomad Camp on top is fine, knowing that this isn't the greatest shuffle for you.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not liking the second Inventor just because the game is ending soon. And as you said, actually, if they'd gained 2 Ironworks last turn, they would be winning this turn, probably.
I think that would have been a guaranteed win, because unless they hit by one of the discard or top deck attacks with Werewolf, they would have been a winning line.
Yeah, we'll see if Munster goes for that now, although it's a little bit closer. They can't quite risk it yet.
Actually, never mind. It wouldn't have necessarily been, because the Nomad Camp would have been on top.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We'll see what they go for here. There is some consideration to gaining an estate here. Yeah, because that lets you draw on. And now they are going to be able to buy a duchy, which is nice. And they're going to continue with the Nomad Camp thing.
Doesn't seem too bad at all.
Yeah, this was quite a bad shuffle. They could have gotten a province a couple turns ago and not triggered the shuffle. So that's something that Munster needs to figure out for the next match, is making sure to track that shuffle, when to discard with the mill, and making sure that you don't end up triggering your shuffle with missing all your good cards.
Yep.
Luckily, their deck was far enough ahead that it doesn't affect them much.
Yeah, I wonder if Munster seems in a position where they could try to run down estates if they wanted to.
Yeah, I would have considered getting 2 estates there. I know it's right before a shuffle, but this is a huge deck, so it doesn't hurt you that much. And the second Inventor I mentioned, that was just bought this shuffle. So they still have not played that Inventor once, and they're going to have to go through 45 cards in order to play that Inventor again. So Munster may be in some trouble here.
You can definitely see duchies piling out here.
Yeah, Nick again not playing the Werewolf for draw. I don't understand. They could have played the Werewolf for draw and bought a province.
Oh, they did buy a province. They had the Inventor in play. So.
Okay. I still would have played the Inventor, the Werewolf for draw, and maybe found something else good in the rest of your deck. Munster's got a ways to go here before they can get to province. I think they need to play.
Munster didn't hit one of their inventors here. That would have let them do good things with duchies.
Yeah, I think they need to gain an estate here and hope that they can find some money. They're instead going to go for the aqueduct points, it looks like.
Why are you doing the estate before the silver?
That is a good question. That order was questionable. So again, that's the case I mentioned where you deny 3. You've got 3 cards, 2 are good. 1 is good, 2 are bad, and now you're just giving them the 1 bad one.
Yeah. It's an interesting shuffle to trigger.
But luckily, SuperNick was able to find a province here with that draw. They drew into it.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a lucky draw, but their deck was quite good at that. Their deck had a lot of good stuff in it, so they had a lot of different outs.
Seems like, in retrospect, a risk that you would want to take there.
Yeah, I think if Munster had not triggered that shuffle, their next shuffle would have been a lot better, and they would have been able to pile out there, but it's hard to say.
Yep. Hindsight 2020.